Hello everyone, welcome to the World Social Club. We're doing a two-part special building up to the biggest tournament in world football after the Champions League. And I'm joined by a full house to get stuck into it. Today's show is going to be about England. Tomorrow we're going to give our World Cup predictions. Let's dive straight in. England. I did try to get James for this. I did. Because James genuinely cares about England. Mr. Stephen Howson. We talked about this a few weeks ago. In fact, you made a big point about this, about the pressure around England. Now we should just scrap a load of players, take a load of kids. Southgate's kind of done that to some extent. Do you think this is probably the least pressure this England team's been under going into a major tournament?
It is in my memory.
Yeah.
It's definitely the least pressure that I've seen with an England team going in my memory. But what we spoke about was him doing it deliberately. So he would have scrapped maybe the likes of Henderson, maybe a couple of other players that was maybe not someone that you can think he can take with for another 3 or 4 tournaments, 2 or 3 tournaments. You can only piss with a cock you got, can't you? And that's what England have got at the moment.
Yeah.
So I think that's what they've took what they've got available to them. And even that has reduced the pressure, but there's some seriously exciting talent that they could have taken. And I'm talking about Sessegnon as a mega outside chance. I'm thinking Sancho. That's the sort of no pressure that I'm thinking. Do you know what? Yeah. Build for the future and let's just... Does anyone actually sitting at this table think England are going to win a World Cup?
No.
Or even get to a semi-final?
No.
So why kid ourselves otherwise? Why not build for the future? Give that tournament experience to some of these lads.
Yeah, but to be fair, I just don't think it's too far removed. What do you think? Because in terms of that squad, you maybe been Kale. There's not too many like old and past it lads. You're not gonna cut out you're not gonna bin off Harry Kane.
No, it's not going to be Kane or Sterling. No, I'm just saying make a real concerted effort. Phil Jones. Would you have took Phil Jones? There are players in the squad where you go, maybe not. And you could have took others if he'd have had a concerted effort. And I think if he'd have come out, it seems like they've done quite a lot of good in the press. They come out last week, didn't they, and said for the first time ever, we had this real open day where you could ask anything. That the depression stuff with Danny Rose came out of that. It seemed like that was it's not a positive subject, but it got a positive response. Yeah. So I think if Southgate, he's doing some things right, and that is definitely one of the things he's doing right. If he'd have come out and gone, we know who we are, we know what we are, and we're building for them. And
but
this is how we're going to do it.
But he's doing that. I think he's talking to himself. He's talking about the squad he's got available to him. He's not saying this is our year. No one's pushing those stupid adverts of like believe and all this kind of bollocks. He's basically put out there. He's saying England are at best dark horses, and that's all England should be. England. I remember Ian Rush saying this years ago. Like, why do England fans get so wound up when England go out in the quarterfinals? They're seeded to get to. That's where you're seeded to get to. To go beyond that should be treated as an absolute national holiday time. So at least they are living within their expectations.
We invented the game, Paul.
I think the big thing that Steve's making the point
2 World Wars, 1 World Cup.
The big thing about the age, only France have got a younger squad. So they are taking young players. You're thinking Sterling, Dele Alli, Kane, Jess Lingard are relatively young front 4 players. Yeah, Lingard, 24, 25. But still, it's quite young, and you are giving that experience. I think if you're taking Sancho, you're taking Sessegnon, are they going to probably play in the first team? No, they're not. They'll be on the bench and maybe impact, which could have been quite nice, could have been quite good. But I still think there is a bit of a belief that there is this next sort of World Cup, this next phase. But I think the tactics that he's currently employing are completely wrong. And I think that's the problem, that he's talking the talk. Yeah, we're playing these young players, but are they actually going to walk the walk on the pitch? At the moment, from what I've seen, no.
There's been far too many World Cups where the players are built up and we're going to do this and we've got this golden generation, and let's be honest, they were shite at major tournaments. And then, the next lot were coming through and we'll bond the two together, and we didn't even get out the group in 14. So this time, I've been the same. I've just...
More than any other time.
Exactly. We're going to find a way. But I put it on against Nigeria and was pleasantly surprised at the movement and the pace, and everyone seemed to know the job. And I think what Southgate's done, I think we done ball street when he was getting a job, and it was like, Southgate, all right. But I think he's actually grown into the role so well, and because he isn't Sam Allardyce, and he isn't a high profile Capello or people like that. Listen, I know a couple of jokers like McLaren have had it as well and things like that, but he's just someone who'd kind of gone, he's been in the system, give it to him, and everyone kind of went, it was shite anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well,
he's like fostered this team spirit. And you've heard the players. He went over to the Super Bowl to see how they dealt with the media before a big event, and hence that's what came last week with the open day with the press. I think he's doing really well, and because the pressure is off, it might be better.
England, I think, for so long have been going, we've got the best players in the world, we need to get a big profile coach who's matching up with that, rather than getting a guy who sets a style of football that suits the national mentality to some extent. And that's the thing about Southgate for me, is that he's been part of that system almost from St George's Park. And look, he's not a stellar character or a stellar name or whatever, but I don't think England need that, because this isn't that group of players. This isn't a group of world-class players that he's looking to bond together.
They still need identity, though, and I don't think that's been developed properly. I don't think that England should be playing out the back. They don't have a talented centre-halves on the ball. Yeah, Harry Maguire's good, but you put him in a wide position, he loses the ball, he ain't getting back. Yeah. I think that's the problem, that they've got a good team to counter-attack now. They've got a traditional English sort of style of football is counter-attacking. They could play that way, but they're not. They're going to perceive to be playing out of the back, which is, for me, crazy. Yeah, the youth teams do it, but that generation of youth teams now that's coming through after all the changes with the coaching course and so forth, that's not there yet. So maybe, yeah, we are putting this style of play now, but it just doesn't feel right if you're going to progress. But in the long-term development, it's probably right.
This system weird suits mentality. Us more than any other system that I've seen England play for decades, though.
Yeah, but then you're looking at the three best players, or three players behind Harry Kane. Harry Kane's probably the guy. You want to play three forwards behind him. You've got so many talented players there. Sterling, Dele Alli, Jess Lingard. You can't play all of them if you're playing a back three.
But is it protecting the fragilities in the team?
Yeah, but at the same time, why do that? If you're not looking to go far, surely you want to get people behind you. Like, for example, Liverpool are a great example of that. They've got a workman-like midfield, good attacking three. We can have a good attacking four, workman-like team, and people are going to get behind them because they're going to score goals. Simple as that. Look, if you play those four players, there's going to be goals. 18 goals from Sterling this season, Harry Kane breaking records again. And it's one of these things where we just need to attack, because people get behind that. And as soon as we play progressive, aggressive football, even though we might be defending a bit, like Liverpool again in the Champions League, less possession than most of their opponents. That's kind of what I would like to see, but I don't think that's going to go that way at all.
In 1990, they started with 4-4-2 and went to 3-5-2 against Egypt and ended up in the semi-finals, losing on penalties. So you can change your formation throughout it. That's the beauty of it. But I think what England have got better than what they've had for a while is they've actually got quality in the final third. And I don't mean we haven't had a good, because we've always had good strikers, but we've always been very, very rigid. We went to South Africa and we had Aaron Lennon playing on the frigging left-hand side and Sean Wright-Phillips. Now, with the likes of Lingard and Rashford and people,
then it stinks to play long and quickly to them. Get the ball to them as quick as you can.
But then you give them possession up to the best players in the world. But everything's 50-50.
But then that's the kind of thing, though. If you don't want to be holding at the back. Henderson's good, but he isn't a guy that's going to unlock you with a pass. He isn't going to split you open. Same with Eric Dyer, quite limited on the ball. You don't want those guys. That's what you're thinking. Back three, it progresses through midfield, then it goes to the attackers. You almost want to just.
That being said, though, it depends whether you put Trippier or Alexander-Arnold on the right wing back, because Trent can.
I think that's the thing. I think I'd love to see Trent play.
Yeah, I think England will be a better team. And we might, if he doesn't start, it wouldn't shock me to see him be in the team. If they get out the group, it'll be because they've maybe made a more positive change in that team. And what, Rose are we talking, left wing back?
I think Rose is probably the best at the moment.
I think but then I think that's decent. I think Henderson's got a range of passing for sticking it into the channels, which I think is fine. And you've got players who can run. I don't think it's too bad. What I want to know, and what I think is good, is that I don't think the lack of superstars means that there's not we've got to get the ball to X and he's going to solve all of England's problems.
Harry Kane.
Well, maybe. How far do we think England can go then, Dave?
Quarters, I think. I've got them in the quarters. I think how I've done it, I think they play Colombia maybe in the last 16. I think they get through that. Or is it Colombia? Let me have a look what I've got. I've got England-Poland, actually. So I think they'll get through Poland and then they'll face Brazil in the quarters, and I think that'll be as far as they go.
Yeah.
I've got it. I think we've got it the other way around. So I think you've got England finishing top, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got England finishing top.
I've got England finishing second, so obviously we've got the groups the other way around, but I've also got us meeting Poland in the round of 16, and I think we get through Poland, but I've got to meet Germany in the quarterfinals, and there's absolutely no chance of us getting through Germany.
I've got optimistically England to get to the quarters against Germany and get knocked out. But I think the difference will be this time around, it won't be in spectacular, heartbreaking failure. I think they'll go out to one of the best teams in world, the best team in world footy at that point. Exactly, and people go, oh, imagine next year when these under-21 lads are ready to make the step up, etc., etc. What do you think, Baz?
Yeah, quarters. The way I've done it, similar to you, got exactly the same team, not similar because they're playing Germany. And at this moment in time, things can happen in tournaments, of course. Teams can grow into it. Teams you expect to be brilliant might, it's a brick wall, whatever. So you'd say at this time, the quarters, but you get into the quarterfinals, anything can happen.
Okay.
Anything can happen.
So I want to know, we'll do it in this order first. Who's going to be the darling of the British media from this team by the end of the tournament?
Harry Kane, I think. I think it's going to be Harry Kane. I think
already?
More than he already is.
I think more than he already is. I think with
someone going to impregnate him?
Like with what he's going to do, the goal scoring, I think it's going to be the big thing, and everyone's going to jump on that. Kane led us to this far. He scored all the goals. Everyone will forget the team. It'll just be Harry Kane. All about Harry.
As long as he stays off the set pieces this time. Maybe.
Central, I'd take him. Okay.
I think it's going to be Marcus Rashford. I think this is the tournament where I don't think he's going to start, but I think he's got that Michael Owen factor to him. You saw how exciting he was the other week. He's one where, I wouldn't necessarily start the tournament with him. I'd leave him there as an impact, bring him on maybe the last group game or substitute, whatever, let him run right, let him just play his game. And he'll be the one where if it does lead to spectacular failure, he will come across and everyone will remember all the good stuff he does rather than tar it. There's a couple I'll come on to, I think will end up taking all the heat and he'll be the one who
I
looks
think we all agree
like...
on who that's probably going to be.
Mm-hmm. Who do we think then, darling?
Danny Welbeck. As good as he is.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna say Sterling.
Wow.
Honestly, right? Because I think it's gonna flip. Oh. I honestly, because for me, Kane...
A face turn for Raheem Sterling.
No, but the thing is, like at the Euros, Harry Kane hadn't been able to miss all season. He went there, he couldn't pass water in that tournament. He was horrendous. And when I watched him against Nigeria, what he done fantastically well was drop off, and it opened up the run. And that's what I'm talking about, the difference with England. In the past, we've had the centre forward up there, right up, and people have just gone, yeah, we'll just mark you man for man, which is what happened in 16. So his play was cut down. We didn't give him anything because people knew they had to mark him. Now we've got Lingard running through, Rashford, Sterling. You've got.
That's why you need to play three.
Oh, but
it
I'm
just
saying,
makes complete sense.
I honestly think Sterling will find the shooting boots in this and beat, because everyone will be looking rightly at Harry Kane, and I think Sterling can flip it round and maybe get a tattoo with a pair of fingers or whatever. Something like that. You never know.
It's me, just all looking at me dead weird.
Just because we want to know what
all right, okay. Well, I kind of agree that I think Rashford has got the potential to go and do something absolutely nuts. I think what he was told at weekend for his tactical briefing for what to do to go and find space in between and to play off the main striker, and it worked like a dream. I don't think any of us would have ever envisioned it working as well as it did, and obviously he's had a cheeky look, hasn't he, for the goal.
Because he's meant to just be forced out wide on the left at all times.
No, I've watched him since he was 14, and he's never really occupied that space. He's always either played
did at Newcastle
down the
this
middle.
Season when we played Martial, Juan Mata, Rashford and Lukaku. In the second half he played central and he was really, really good. He got an assist and scored, or big contributions.
Yeah, but I don't think he's ever really fully just completely dropped off to look the way he did for England. I think it was different the way he was dropping off and finding that gap in that space. And I think maybe he's got the feet that are good enough to be able to beat a man in that area, because we usually do get bogged down with something in there. But I don't think it's going to be him. I think it's going to be Jesse Lingard.
Right.
I think because Jesse Lingard, you'll soon see what United fans see with him, which is that he is 110% all the time. And he's always showing, he's always moving, he's always offering that option. And what he didn't have prior to this season was an end product. Mm-hmm. And now the big games, you want to see Jesse Lingard on the team sheet. And I think that's going to happen for England as well.
Or, because everyone's club's got that player that you're like, no, he's really good. Then everyone goes, no, he's shit. He goes and he's completely anonymous, which is like Jordan Henderson. And it's like everyone's got this one player. You're like, can't wait for this tournament. So everyone gets to see just how good this lad is. And he's fucking shit. It happens every single time. Villain then, I think the obvious shouts are Raheem Sterling and Dele Alli. Because they're primed, everyone wants to hate them lads, don't they?
No, not everybody at all.
You know what I say, everyone.
No.
I mean,
Yeah,
not all.
there's a couple of newspapers.
Exactly.
That's what you
mean. And that's what I mean. But unfortunately, that's the problem with England, is that the vast. And I don't want to totally and utterly again tar everyone with the same brush, because there are some really sensible people, of course, who do like international footy in this country. But they're the obvious ones, aren't they? You know what I mean? They are the ones with the targets on the back. I have put though. Pickford? No. You know why? No. Not because I think he's look, his small arms might lead to him
Small
having
arms. Shut up, mate. The best keeper, best English keeper by a country mile.
I think
Small arms.
Sterling's your big shout because I think they're waiting for him to cock up.
Yeah.
But I think if you're looking for an on-the-pitch screw-up, I think Phil Jones has got to be one of them. He's so clumsy. I think just pure clumsiness.
Plus great faces as well, though.
Yeah, and I think that...
I mean, he tripped over the mat at West Ham the other week.
Look at the the FA Cup final. He's absolutely primed for doing something like that in a game that cost England the senders out. And he plays for United, which means that he's more likely to do it for anyone.
The reason I went with Pickford is only just because he's the goalie, and I think he's a young lad as well, and I think Southgate's done this, and it's great that he's taken Butland and he's taken Pickford and he's been Joe Hart, because you know what you're getting from Joe Hart, absolutely. The problem is, and I think Pickford's a very good goalkeeper, I do indeed. I think Butland's good as well to some extent, but I remember Scott Carson having his career completely destroyed by being chucked in the England team under too much pressure too soon. The media, as much as they're looking to pull down Sterling and Ali, they don't realise they do it, but they hate English goalkeepers. It's the hardest position to play in that country by an absolute mile, because the second you make one mistake, you're pilloried forever.
I was going to say Chris Smalling, but unfortunately didn't make the squad, but he would have been the guy, wouldn't he? Whatever he did, even if he scored in the World Cup final, it would have been Chris Smalling, absolute rubbish. But I agree with Pickford. I think he's still got areas of his game he needs to improve, and I think the big thing at international football is you're parrying into danger, and I still think Pickford does that too much for me. And I think that's the type of mistake that's going to come. Pickford's going to make a really good save, but he's going to parry it into the wrong area. Someone's going to run in and put it in the back of the net. And I think that'll be the problem. Yeah. And then the media will jump on that. Or Dele Alli losing his head.
This is the one.
That's the other thing. If Dele Alli gets sent off, that's it.
If you had to put money on an England player getting sent off because they lost their head, it's Dele Alli, surely.
Yeah. There's not many more in that squad that flash, is there, to be fair?
I like that, though. That's the thing. Like with Wayne Rooney, when that side got taken out of his game, you lost an edge. And like Dele Alli's talking about, I need to be, more sensible in this and that. No, I want him to play like he plays for Tottenham. I want him to wind people up. I want him to get in people's faces, and I want him to frustrate the opponent.
I got time for that. I got time for someone being an absolute bellend.
It's like Sergio Ramos, same thing, right?
Isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to say John Stones.
Ooh, that's such a...
I'm going to say John
Trying
Stones.
something silly.
Like
a Cruyff turn in the D.
And it'll cost us.
A little bit of that.
Yeah,
because I haven't watched him for a while. He is prone. What I'd say about Pickford, I haven't watched them all season. It was like shooting practice for him in the first half of the season. He's unbelievable keeper, unbelievable. Okay. So no worries about him.
So I have to ask, before we come on to our World Cup predictions in the next show, are we all behind England? No? Yeah, I am. I'm weirdly...
Jess Lingard, Marcus Rashford, all the lads that play. Well, Danny Welbeck's going to get thrown in there, Phil Jones.
Why not?
I am.
I'd like we give England a lot of stick, particularly at Ball Street North and across all of our channels. But no, they're so uncool.
How mad is it you have to even ask that question and it's
funny.
not an absolute answer?
I'm sat here in a Germany top. I am. I must admit, I'm looking forward to the World Cup, and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what happens with England. And then I just hope
I don't wish them ill.
Doesn't make it out.
I don't wish them ill. But if England lose, like England lost to Iceland, and we did fan cams on Full Time Devils. We had Andy Tate with us, who had lost his mind, and I was almost laughing at his reaction to everything because I can't find a care to give. If they lose, I'm not asked. I wish them well. I wish all the United players at this tournament well, but that's all of them and all the different countries they play for. I love the World Cup because I love just the absolute concentration of football that I'm about to see. But I'm not an England fan.
Okay. Cool. So, how do England manage to get to the quarterfinals before getting knocked out? Find out in our World Cup predictions, which is coming up tomorrow.